Hello everyone and welcome back to Millennia. We're in collaboration with Paradox Interactive. In this video, we'll explore the Ages system, how it works, and the many different types on offer. So let's take a look at this glorious system. From the beginning, you'll have but one choice, and as you move through the ages, you'll often be presented with many more. 4 types to explore, including historical ages tied to tradition, variant ages with new things to uncover, crisis ages with challenges, and finally, victory ages. To move through to the next age out of 10, you'll need to select it after meeting the technology requirements and researching the age itself. The less historical, alternate ages will all have their own unique conditions that need to be met. So make sure you keep on top of your knowledge if you would like to be the player that leads the next step in the timeline, for it is the player who first researches the next age that locks it in for everybody else. Don't forget you can go back and research older technologies at a slight discount. But what happens if you're not first? Well, tracking progress up in the top left-hand side of the screen, you might find that somebody else is setting the pace of the game. In this case, Brazil, moving the world through to the Age of Iron. But while the world is in the Age of Iron, to get access to the technologies, I first need to also research the age. Now let's move through and take a look at some specific types of ages, starting with historical ages. Perhaps the most traditional, the most aligned with our civilization's own timeline. Each age will present new challenges, new in-game systems, and of course, new technologies to research. These historical ages tend to align with those great periods in our civilization's history and the needs of our people. But variant ages are a step further into discovery, into the unknown, the what if we did more or did things differently. These variant ages, in this case the Age of Ether, can be unlocked by getting the technologies required as well as further special conditions, like building, for example, 5 recon air balloons in the age before. This variant age also provides a unique resource, Ether, which I can harvest for power and some special unique units. But what about the crisis ages? Well, don't let the name fool you. They're not necessarily always a bad thing, though they will present a challenge. Here, the age of dystopia, plunging the world into chaos. To unlock it during the Age of Revolution, I had to make sure I triggered 3 chaos events. So by embracing it wherever possible, and of course creating some of my own, sieging enemy cities, I was able to move through. But be warned, by unlocking it as a crisis age, it becomes my only choice, completely locking me out of the other options, unless I wanted to wait for someone else to move us in a different direction. But I didn't do that, instead plunging the world into riots and chaos. And finally, victory ages, presenting themselves a little more rarely, scarce, except, of course, for the final age, where all options are on the table, and victory can and must be secured. But also, at some instances earlier in the game, players who are overwhelmingly ahead may be able to take advantage of an early victory age, like the Age of Harmony, achieving victory when 66% of the world's population follows my glorious state religion. All ages can bring their own unique flair and technologies, and they'll also open up or limit future choices. So bear that in mind as you're moving through, or as you're being dragged through the ages, that the decisions that are made and the path that's taken will directly impact the kinds of opportunities that may be on offer in the future, like the glorious Age of Visitors, apparently a crisis age, but I can't help but find it so much fun. Thank you for joining me in this video. Join me next time for the final tutorial where we'll take a look at combat. I'll see you then.